Welcome, everybody. It's your girl Delores, and you are here to hit the ropes with your girl Delores and maybe J News, okay? But normally it's me and J News talking all things wrestling, from professional ones that you can see on your everyday cable screens and coming to Netflix near you, or to the indie underground ones where we get apps, we go on websites, we go check out the things of the things and all things wrestling. You hit the ropes here, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, well, until my good brother either comes or you're just stuck with me this week, we're going to start off with the review time. It's time for the review. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We're going to start off with WWE, and we're going to start off with their flagship show, Raw. Ladies and gentlemen, it was Monday Night Raw 1636 on the 30th, ladies and gentlemen. And as you see at the bottom scrolling, we had Xavier Woods defeat Rey Mysterio. Zoe Starks, flanked by Shayna Baszler and Sonya Deville, defeated Laura Valkyria. The Judgment Day, Carlito, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough, aka Big Head, with Liv Morgan in their corner, defeated the LWO of Cruz del Toro, Dragon Lee, and Joaquin Wild. We had Chad Gable with Brutus Creed and Julius Creed, along with Ivy Nile in their corner. In his corner, defeat Kofi Kingston with Xavier Woods in his corner. The Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor, with Karrion Kross, Paul Ellering, and Scarlett in their corner, defeated Awesome Truth of R-Truth and The Miz. And last but not least, the fun monster match, as they said, the meaty match was the last monster standing match. Braun Strowman defeated Bronson Reed. This is what happened on Monday Night Raw. Now, my personal opinion after seeing it, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, go definitely check out the last match. I did enjoy that very, very much. Okay? So that wraps up everything that had to do with Raw on the 30th. Now we're on to NXT 753 on the first, the very next day. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the matches scrolling across the bottom. We had a WWE NXT women's title match. Roxanne Perez defeated Julia. We had a street fight where Wesley defeated Zachary Ritz. We had a fatal influence of Fallon Henley and JC Jane defeat Jada Parker and Lola Vice. And last but not least, we had for the NXT title match with the special referee CM Punk, Trick Williams defeat the champion Ethan Page. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. That means we in the era of whoop that trick, get them, whoop that trick. We're in the whoop that trick era, ladies and gentlemen. Of starting off now, if you don't know, NXT is now on the CW. Okay, it's no longer on the USA. So for WWE, we have SmackDown and Raw right now on the USA, and NXT is on the CW. Okay, so while we close out NXT, I think the last match again. I like the match between Trick Williams and Ethan Page. It was very good, and I would say that would be the match from the show that I tell people to go back and watch. So now we're on to WWE Friday Night SmackDown. It was live on the 4th It was number 1311. SmackDown has been out there for a long period of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, here are the matches scrolling at the bottom. We had Carmella Hayes defeat AJ Styles by referee decision. AJ's ankle got messed up at the beginning of the match, and that's what started it. We had a dumpster match. Michin defeated Chelsea Green. And ladies and gentlemen, ooh, Chelsea was stinking, bud. And she tried to talk to the general manager. He's like, no, you need to hit the showers immediately. Immediately. We'll talk about seeing her again on the pay-per-view. Naomi defeated Tiffany Stratton. And for the WWE Tag Team title triple threat ladder match, the bloodline of Tama Tonga and Tagaloa defeated DIY, which is Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, and the Street Profits, which are Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. I really, out of all these matches, again, for some apparent reason, the main event really took a hold of me. I did like the main event of this. So I would say go back and watch it because they will put their bodies on the line for this, okay? So, speaking of leading up to this is the week leading up to the pay-per-view Bad Blood, ladies and gentlemen. WWE Bad Blood 2024. It was on the 5th of October. So that was Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. If you hadn't not known, listen, it was a good pay-per-view. And we're going to talk about it a little bit. We had a multitude of stars and celebrities and our hosts, the women's tag champions of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, along with their running mate, Naomi, come out. I mean, it was wonderful to see these wonderful women hosts. They hosted throughout the night. They had like a little celebrity VIP section up top. Chelsea tried to enter, but they were like, girl, you stink. We ain't gonna deal with this. And so they sent Chelsea about her way. But we had Goldberg there. We had Lillian Garcia, Quavo, Jacqueline, Lil Baby, Metro Boomin himself, who brought my boy Cody Rhodes to the ring. The Telly Blanchard, Arn Anderson, or if you know him from AEW, we call him Glock Anderson, and X-Pac himself was in attendance. There were so many more people. We had Killer Mike there. It was so many people. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, Bad Blood was in my state of Georgia and where I come from, Atlanta. And if you don't know, I'm going to always, and I mean always, screaming out for you from the top of my voice. ATLANT, yeah, that's where I stay, okay? Zone 6. That's what I represent, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to the action. So, up first, opening the pay-per-view was a Hell in a Cell match where CM Punk defeated Drew McIntyre. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a really great match. Hard fought. If you're a WWE watcher, you know that most of the time in this little PG era we've been in, there was no blood. There was none of that. If there was blood, they would cut the cameras and clean them up, stitch them up, work, make sure everything was fine. But this time, ladies and gentlemen, we got what we really wanted. A hard-fought match to the point where afterwards, CM Punk could barely stand. And all he could ask for was for somebody to please go get his wife. Okay? So if you did not go back and see it, please, this is the match I would ask people to go back and watch. Got a little clunky, but we had the WWE Women's Title match where Nia Jax, the champion, kept her championship by defeating Bayley. Yes, she did. With a little bit of assistance unknowingly by Tiffany Stratton. It's Tippy time, okay? Tiffany came out there. She went to cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase. But Nia set up like Undertaker and was like, what are you doing? And she was like, can I take it back? And by then, Nia wrecked shop. And as you see, she pinned Bayley for the 1, 2, 3. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we had Damian Priest defeat Finn Balor. Pretty quick match. Seems like Finn didn't get no kind of offense in this. Uh, Finn got towed up. He even tried to have backup with JD and Carlito, and they still could not help him. It was like doo real quick. Listen, I have to come out here and tell you this. I had hope for my boy Finn. Okay, I had hope that maybe he could win one good match, and that hope just sailed away as I watched the pay-per-view. Hey, the educated natural, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever connected with 10, please do. You'll learn some things. So yeah, and so my boy Damien just stumped him out, like stumped him out. And so at that moment, I was like, oh, does this mean Rhea won't win? But we'll talk about that. In the match that came up next, we have for the WWE Women's World Title match, Rhea Ripley defeating Liv Morgan, the champion. But because it was a DQ, she did not win the championship because Raquel Rodriguez came back and got involved and helped her teammate. For those who don't know, Dominic and Rhea had a great relationship. As we argue on another podcast, she controlled it. She started beating him, and then all of a sudden they were in a relationship. That sounds a little bit toxic. And he couldn't eat chicken nuggets no more. He had to fight against his family. And so she started to face, she had an injury. Liv won the title. Dominic then started to get in situations where he was around Liv. Once Rhea came back, he then turned on Rhea and chose Liv. Okay? And so the stipulation of this match, as you can see in the bottom corner, is that where I was just at, is that Dom had to be in the shark cage. And Dom is A, scared of heights, and B, he looked like he was afraid. He was fumbling in the cage, but come to find out, Dom accidentally falls out of the cage upside down, and then Rhea takes this opportunity to beat him with a kendo stick. Okay, and so after that, after she comes back to turn around and get the upper hand, that's when Raquel Rodriguez comes back and essentially just interrupts. The referee had no choice but to call a DQ because he saw her. Next and last up, because this was a short pay-per-view, started at 6:00, ended I think a little after 10, almost 11. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns defeated the bloodline of Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. Again, bloodline match. We already know what's gonna happen. Bloodline gonna get involved. That's how it always goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna talk a little bit about the match. You see my boys Solo and Jacob come out. They were ready to go. Hard hitting match. Match got very intense. Cody even had to make a leap of faith to sacrifice himself for Roman. But in the end, Jimmy comes back to save his cousin. And as you see, they embrace. They have had a long relationship in the bloodline where they were two brothers and a cousin together, just like the bloodline. As we all know, they are related to The Rock, ladies and gentlemen. And so that was a thing that has been going on for the past years. They were together. They were wrecking shop. Then they proceeded to break up. Then now we're seeing them kind of rebuild to go against the newer bloodline. So we have the original tribal chief against the new tribal chief, Saul Sikoa. Okay? But this is the biggest part. After the match, The Rock walks out to let us know something in some kind of language we didn't know. He just counted to 4, slit across his neck area, and walked off. But in fan footage, my poor boy Cody again, and I mean again, get stomped out in front of his Wheatley's bus. Okay, Wheatley's didn't do him that good. Listen, Cody, I want to have a heart-to-heart talk with you. And before I do that, I'm gonna bring my boy J News up. Hey, J News, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm gonna rant a little bit about my boy Cody.
Yeah.
You got anything you want to tell the good people before I start snapping on folks?
Before Delores starts her rant, I wanted to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's good with the J News, and I'm back at it again here with Delores, here at the Hit the Ropes podcast, Sunday night, as we usually do, wrapping up the week that was pro wrestling. But without further ado, Delores, you were saying something about our good brother Cody, Devontae Rhodes, Gonzalez, and all that jazz.
I call him Cody Luther King. He was out here fist bumping black women, had a band dance, and he was getting it. But I find it very disrespectful that my boy Cody always getting stomped out in front of his bus where his wife and kid is. Okay,
Yeah,
I got many questions. First of all, why was the bus there? Okay, Cody, you know you live here, right? You can just went home, got in the car, and just went home. That's all you had to do. Okay. Second of all, why are you having a conversation? Why did you put your belt down on the ground? And why did you try to pick it up with an irate man standing in front of you? They're like me arguing with another lady and then going to tie my shoe. I know. I'm gonna see some stars. And then B, if you did not see it, ladies and gentlemen, he old through A-Town stumped him with his foot upside his head. Cody, come on. Cody. And then you fans out there just recording, not helping the boy. He come from Georgia. Come on. We know there ain't no way you can let somebody get jumped like that and not get involved. Come on. Help me help myself. Great state of Georgia. Y'all out there just say it. No, we don't do that, okay? They know we don't do that. That's why in another van footage, you see all the security lined up in front of all the people. We wouldn't let Cody got stopped like that. Stop making us look bad, okay? But Cody, stop letting people outdo you, okay? And also, I know you got rhythm, but somebody in that band didn't, okay? And you need to go and get them. Get your money back, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, next up is AEW. AEW. Oh, speaking of that, before we start AEW and J News, was there any part of this show that you extremely like?
Bad Blood, you mean?
Yes.
I did not watch Bad Blood live. I know what happened and what went down. For the most part, I would say that everything played out the way that I thought it would from a wins and losses perspective. It was good to see Jimmy back after such a long time back, and after his dad put out a cryptic tweet a couple of weeks ago, nobody knowing what the hell's going on with Jim.
I think he's a part of the Legends contract because he has to be at this point because DDP just got signed to a Legends contract, so I know he has to.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting signed to Legends contracts, but for all intents and purposes, I'm happy to see Jim back. I need for Finn Balor to stop taking losses out here.
That's what I said. I was hurt. I was very hurt.
Nothing against Damian Priest, aka Punishment Martinez. Nothing against the brother. I think he's done a great job.
I got something against the brother. You already know what I'm about to say.
No, I don't. Go ahead.
I appreciate you trying something new, but was it colonic? Colonic, is that the weave hair? Let it go. Let it go.
Oh man. Yeah, I think they need to do something different with Finn. This whole Judgment Day thing is like, for me specifically, it's run its course. For just speaking for myself, it's run its course. Um, we'll see what happens with the whole dynamic after Raquel Rodriguez just came back, and the Liv Morgan continuing her revenge tour against Rhea Ripley, and the whole Dominic Mysterio thing. We'll see how it goes. The Rock coming back at the end of the show. It was rumored all week. It
Yeah,
went
he's
down.
been here all week. He's been
Yeah,
here all week. And so
it went down. He came out. He was still the final boss, and we'll see how it all breaks down and what the symbolism was behind him putting up the 1, 2, 3 and slitting his throat was. We'll see how that breaks all that breaks down. There was some extra video footage.
yeah, the extra video footage wasn't nothing. He literally just walking around talking. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? Do you know me? Yeah, okay, thank you." Oh, when he fist bumped one man, it was like, somehow I would let my daughter date you,
His
and I was
sister,
like,
I believe it was his sister, and he told the dude he had a match. Yeah, he told the dude he had a match as well. It was a whole thing. Yeah, he was being his usual charming self. But I would say that actually wasn't the footage I was talking about. What I was referring to after the whole final boss footage, there was more. I want to put this in air quotes, leaked footage that came out.
oh, fans recorded it. They were out there standing out there because when I don't know if you saw it when I put it up there. Fans put out the video in the still images, and so you could tell and you could hear other fans like screaming like, no, don't do it, go. Like it was meant to be like that. Sean Ross Sapp said that it was meant to be styled like that so fans could almost leave. And so it seemed like that. So hopefully we can do. But my favorite match of the night was the opener, CM Punk. And so
I didn't get to watch any of the violence in that match. I know that they were.
Oh yeah, it got so violent to the point we're gonna go back where I can't even show you the color because YouTube doesn't allow me to do it.
Right. They bled a bit. It was definitely a foregone blood feud there. And that bump that I saw that Drew took on the staircase, like it reminded me of the whole cinder block thing with freaking Swerve and Hangman and whatnot. I was like, what are these guys doing? I was like, this is ridiculous. But I wanted to finish the footage stuff, and I don't know if you got to this footage. There was fan footage taken of Solo Sikoa talking to the rest of the bloodline when The Rock was on when The Rock was just like in the entrance space, and Solo was telling the rest of the bloodline, this is part of the plan. This is all part of the plan. So I'm not too sure if this is part of the plan. I'm not too sure if Solo was just talking out of his ass. So I take the same.
I think they're very deliberate about what comes out, and so if it comes out, then it has to be something worthwhile.
Yeah. Everything counts, as Sam Roberts likes to say.
So. Yes. So back to the regularly scheduled program, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do AEW. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna start off with Dynamite 261, the 5-year anniversary on the 2nd, ladies and gentlemen. These are the matches scrolling at the bottom. We had, for the AEW International title, we had Will Ospreay defeat his friend Ricochet in a no contest. We had Adam Page defeat Juice Robinson. We had Britt Baker defeat Serena Deeb. We had Private Party of Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn defeat Iron Savages of BK Boulder and Bulk Branson with Jack Jameson in their corner. And last but not least, for the AEW World title / Continental title, we had Bryan Danielson win and defeat Kazuchika Okada. And then weird, you gonna have 20 minutes. Then after 20 minutes, you can't win this title. Weird match. How you feel about it, J News?
I thought it was an interesting show because there was a lot of stuff that happened on the show that seemed to use the word you just used, a little weird, right? Like you mentioned the Will Ospreay versus Ricochet match, which I thought was a pretty good match, but then the finish itself kind of led to the finish itself where it was a double pin, so for a draw, and then to have Takesh to come out after the draw was announced didn't make much sense to me from a sequential standpoint, from a storyline standpoint and whatnot. And I was like, if you were gonna have them both lose at the end of the at the end of the day, why not just do a time limit draw type thing and then have Takeshita interfere anyways? Because there's no possible way Takeshita could have just interfered, bashed one dude in, the other dude would have lost via disqualification, so it wouldn't have been a draw or whatever. So do a time limit thing, or if he double clotheslines them at the same time and then the ref has to call the match and throw it out, whatever. But like them having the double pin into then Takeshita coming out to be on Will, not so much on Ricochet, I thought that didn't make much storyline sense.
Listen, there was a lot about this that was confusing. I don't really know where this. I just feel confused, and it feels like Britt is back to her. I'm gonna do whatever I want to, kind of chicken crap heel stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what to do when it comes to Brit. I feel like about you have to work your way up. You don't jump to the front of the line. And now it seems like everybody comes and then jumps in front of the line. It's like, at what point do we not do people have to work?
Yeah, that seems to be the growing narrative over the last couple of weeks. It seems like they've at the beginning of the year they reintroduced the whole rankings thing, and then all of a sudden now they've just thrown it all away. So I'm not sure as to what's going on.
I think the rankings thing was a little bit too complicated for some people. It was a little bit too complicated for some people.
At the end of the day, it has to do with wins and losses. It's just numbers. It's not necessarily that complicated. The more you win, the higher the rank you are. It works the same way in sports, right? Because they wanted to have a more sports like feel.
But it was more like we had unnecessary matches to try to put people in the place that they should have been in the first place. So it's like it's like if this person lost one time and they need to be at the top to face like MJF or something, they would have to go on this outrageously crazy winning streak, just stomping folks out in order to get there. And it's like at a certain point, it was like, well, why can't we just put them there? But also it would make sure you would have to make sure that they were there as far as like they did have some type of winning streak. But it's like, oh, Britt, you got stumped out. Guess what? I'm gonna give you a chance. And it's like, you ain't been here in a while. I'm gonna give you a chance. Hey, you done had 2 or 3 good matches. I'm gonna give you a chance. And it's like, listen, we want to see certain matches like Ricochet and Will Ospreay, but you could have let that cook. You could have let that cook for a little minute. You was like, instant microwave, bam, here you go. And I was like, I enjoyed the match, but tell me why it's happening. Like, they don't have no real grudge. They're like cool friends. It's just like, he was like, homie, I'm giving you a shot. Ain't no reason. Like, even when Kevin Owens got a shot that time, Cody was like, you have worked your butt off. You have fought the good fight, and this is why you deserve this shot. He just be like, oh, you my friend? Gotcha. That seems like the problem I have with wrestling, period. Make a storyline out of something. Do something.
Yeah, you're not wrong, right? I think it's all based on the situation, and it's all based on the situation. It's all based on what you want to present in the ring. Because there's a lot of time where, and people say this a lot online from what I can see, and it's like, all right, it's enough with the dream matches, giving my stories. And I was like, well, I've always thought professional wrestling to be more of a variety show. Like, you'll have your stories. The whole entire show doesn't have to be surrounding stories. You can have offshoot matches and create stories from offshoot matches, or just have people have their matches, because at the end of the day, I'm just basing this on AEW freaking canon. If you have a ranking system, you're going to have offshoot matches, and not all matches be akin to the story at the end of the day. So
I think the misconception is that the less matches you have, like what Tony normally does is for as much backstage or in ring promos, he has as many matches. But it's like they sometimes don't mix together. Like I want you to make it matter. Like I want to know why these two people are beefing and that they gonna be for the next 3 weeks. For what reason? Like we got that kind of storytelling from the Swerve Hangman situation. We've gotten it. I know he can do it. Is whether or not because you at least need to have one storyline and one feud that mixes together till you get to an ending. And then when we get to an ending, it needs to be an end. I feel like I would get mad at WWE or any other company after I felt like this is the end. We did a good job. Oh my God, this is the end. And then 2 weeks later, y'all just pick it back up like it ain't never left. I would be mad. Now, once you put a syringe in somebody's mouth, it should be the end. It should be the end. Just like I'm hoping and I'm praying. The Hell in a Cell is the end of this feud. But okay. I'm hoping. Because they gave they all. Let this be the end. You shouldn't go past this. We shouldn't have never did Bailey versus Nia again. I don't understand that. I now understand the Rhea and Liv situation because I'm like, lady, you just come out of nowhere and start this man. I don't know why. And then at the press conference, she said, do you remember when she turned on me years ago when I was a tag team partner? Nobody had ever spoke that again. Nobody had never mentioned that again until she mentioned it at the press conference. And it was like, that doesn't make sense why you been acting like this. Okay.
I think there's with any wrestling company, there's always a certain level of expectation for most people to have been watching for some time, right? So it's like for me, I knew the why necessarily. They both injured each other at the end of the day. So that's what
you would think that you would think that would be the honest of it. But to hear that, like she's like
the beginning of it was
I've been waiting for my moment because you screwed me to screw you, like like what Vince said, Brett screwed Brett, like that moment. That made a whole lot of sense. It put a little bit of a little fire behind it because it's like, okay, y'all both energy. No offense, and I love my girl Nia. She go around injuring people all the time. Then everybody will be mad at her and trying to fight her. That's not the point. The point is that now we know for real, it wasn't just the injury. That was the icing on top. It was the fact that you were mad from how she did you in the past. Yeah. Now it also makes sense that the one person who didn't screw you is now your friend to help you.
Right. Absolutely.
That's what we needed, but we didn't get that in the beginning, and now that it's look like it's gonna drag on a little bit. Triple H, we gotta have a reason why this happening was still, why she joined her, and why is this cool, and now he makes sense of it. I just wish Tony would make sense of some of these things. And also, I understand the fun matches, but sometimes the Outrunners and some of the people we'll name later on that were on Collision, I was like, really? Like, this is what we really gonna do? Like, that's what my face was. But I appreciate him giving people a chance. It's just like, sometimes I just need you to make one good. I want a match with a story. One good time. Do it all. If you do it once a week, that'll be great. But don't give me a whole bunch of BS and then they fighting and then all of a sudden there's a pay-per-view match and I'm like, I can't remember why they even fought in the first place.
I think there's a lot of disconnect between, and the WWE does this too, where they
they do it bad.
Where they shoot a lot of their story beats on it's content, but it's either on YouTube or just online, and a lot of people don't watch it on TV, so they don't necessarily. There's, like I said, there's no sequence to it, and AEW is a big freaking culprit of that. Every time I'll see clips on Twitter that never land on Instagram. Then I'll see clips that are on YouTube that'll never land on Twitter, and it's like, guys, like, make this coherent. so that people can follow along, because they never air it on TV, right? So it's like,
you also gotta be pushy, but like not too pushy.
yeah,
This whole Cody and KO thing, 99 people could have put it on the internet and nobody saw it. But all of a sudden, I was watching in real time people reviewing the show. Go, wait a minute, I just got a notification that wait a minute, Kevin Owens just turned against Cody. Wait a minute. Like it was like they literally was like the fans did the work, they recorded it. We see you all putting it out, but also, guess what? I'm gonna tell them where to go find it. Oh, wait a minute, here you go. Then you got a random stranger dropping in stuff, this SRS and Wrestling Inc. and Wrestle Talk, because
don't get into it. So they no random stranger. The WWE
it ain't no random. But I'm saying random stranger as in somebody
dropped it
in the box and pretends like they don't know where it come from. That's how it goes. But at least, AEW doesn't do that. It's like you'll go weeks and until they put the vignette on TV, you like, I watch the stuff on the internet. I keep up with the stuff on the internet. And sometimes I'm even sitting there like, didn't something happen about 3 weeks ago? I can't remember what happened until the vignette come up, and then I'm like, oh, that was.
Yeah,
I just need them to be more proactive with that. Start pushing out their stuff. Listen, as many pictures I've seen of Shane taking pictures with everybody, if you just push some of them, that content where people like us who review it could actually talk about it and maybe clue in the fans to go to the different pages and check it out, then it would be more like, for sometimes we don't have time to talk about the 97 videos that are dropped on the internet.
Absolutely.
A lot of people didn't know that. For instance, which I find it funny, some people were agitated with the Cody Metro Boomin Triple H video.
Oh, the one about him having to be on a fake out or something like that?
Yeah, that video came out like 2 days before on the WWE website. And I chuckled and sent it to people. And so they were not shocked. Some people literally was like, that didn't make no sense. So he was just sitting there for 3 months, just scoping it out. He didn't even know who Metro Boomin was. But then in the preview, they said he knew. And I'm like, y'all are deep diving into something that's just not that serious. It was just a fun joke, a good time. They have been, listen, far worse is happening in that parking lot. The worst thing they could have did was did a promo to show that, okay, this is fun and funny. I just want a little bit more, melding together.
Yeah,
because like for me and you, we watch 9,000 shows. It's impossible to remember every single detail of every single match unless they put it what they're doing online onto the shows, because even the most smart marks cannot remember everything.
Yeah, because there's a lot. There's always going to be a lot going on. The one thing that it kind of, not that it caught me off guard, and yet again, I understand people's sensibility of it. The whole Chris Statlander coming back thing, right?
And that's your new person,
huh?
She's a new person.
No, she's always been one of my people, but
she's a new person. She no longer is an alien. J News. She's a human.
Right. She's a human being. Absolutely. So they split her from they split her from Stokely. People are giving the justification of, oh, well, she gave like a small justification as to why she's splitting from Stokely. And I was like, what she said during her backstage vignette or backstage interview wasn't enough to quell that story. It wasn't enough to close that gap. Not for me. And then I saw that she had a match on a Collision, but there was a pre-taped interview from Collision where she came in during the interview for Mercedes and Camille. I didn't see that till after the match. So it's like, you guys need to put this shit out in order so that people know what's going on, because that's how stories work. I know all stories are not all linear, but it's professional wrestling and it's weekly TV, so it's supposed to be linear. So
I think sometimes Tony be so focused on one thing that he forget about other things, and then he try to catch up at the end. And it's like, no, you have to deliberately figure out. Like, again, I hate to say WWE, they have shown me that, okay, even with, let's just say, we ain't gonna talk about Cody because I love Cody. Bianca and them, you see the problem. Now, if you didn't see this backstage thing at Bad Blood, they had a VIP section where all the celebrities were, and Kathy Kelly was interviewing
Okay.
Naomi right before Bailey's match, and she said, "How do you feel?" And Naomi's like, "That's my girl. She gonna get this. She got this." Whole time, Jade is looking like to Bianca. Bianca over there like, and then Kathy turns the mic to Bianca and say, "What do you got to say?" And she's like, "Yo, you got this. You can win this." And Jade is like, "Girl," and Naomi's looking like, you can tell she does not like this woman. And that is going to be the impetus of breaking the group up, is because this woman is friends with her friend and she don't like her. She don't like her. We see
But
that with Kevin Owens. He
this
don't like her.
this melds into real life drama though, right? This is what happens in real life, right? One friend don't like the other friend, so now they're over there beefing and shit like that or whatever, and it all happens. So I figured that something like that would have happened on the show.
That Stokely thing was weird. It seems like he was going after Willow, but then Chris was like, but he chose me, and I'm like, after he chased this woman down and always was on her, he was doggone slopping on himself, and now you just a secondhand choice. Now you mad at him, and you kick him to the curb. It's like, come on now, can we make it make sense?
There's little sense in the logic of the storytelling there. So there wasn't much connection. There wasn't much of a bridge built. So I'm not necessarily feeling how they cut that out. Do I want her to be in a position where she's competing with the likes of Mercedes Moné? No, I feel like Chris Statlander should be in Willow's place.
Camille initially walked up and said something to her, and then Mercedes came through like,
right,
she got a B word, and the next thing knows, it was like, Camille. First of all, why are you talking? Like, I watched NWA. I hate to say it. I watched it. Camille can't. She is dry as a cardboard box. She cannot do. She got good in-ring skills, but talking, please don't give her a mic. Start giving people a Warlow, her, Mercedes. Even now, I can't stand to hear her talk. Like, just stop it. Stop putting managers with them to talk, because I can't stand it.
So you gotta allow for folks to get better. From what I understood, not that I watched it because I didn't watch NWA stuff after Nick.
I can tell you the best part of her NWA run is when she was with Nick Aldis.
Oh, I mean, I watched up to that. The only thing I would have to say is that I would have figured, being that Stat came out of this big street fight with Willow, that she would just go into another feud with someone else, and when they steered her in Camille's direction, I was like, oh, so this is cool. Two powerhouse women are gonna go at it, but then they're involving Mercedes, so eventually Chris is gonna get to go against Mercedes in some way or fashion. She's already battled for that TBS championship. She's never battled for the women's championship. So I feel like the runaround, and I understand Willow's the most popular.
This week was confusing in wrestling. It was very confusing in wrestling. I feel like for every good thing I had to say about a company, 9 bad things happened. Yeah. For the 2 good matches I saw on Bad Blood, as a woman, them two women matches were hard. They were bad. They were bad. They were bad. They were bad.
It's
they were bad.
I didn't, like I said, I didn't get to watch.
But I do give credit to my big girl for trying. But
right.
Just don't try no more. You don't have 2 bad matches with this woman.
Yeah.
2 bad matches with this woman. Please, let's not make it a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, or a 6th. Let it go.
Yeah.
And I know why we had this match, because Bailey even said, I had a bad match and I want to redeem myself.
Right.
And girl, that's it. You tried.
They did try. They did try.
But ladies and gentlemen, we're on to the next show. It is ROH. Ring of Honor on Honor Club. It was 84 on the 3rd. And these are the matches ticking at the bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, for the ROH World 6-Man Tag team title proving ground match. Listen, I want to say to Tony Khan, these mother names that you choose for these matches, stop. Okay, these 65 words that I got to write for one match. A ROH World 6-Man Tag Team Title Proving Ground match. What is the proving ground? We already know who the champion is, and they defended. Make it make sense. Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs are Marshall and Ross Von Erich defeated the premier athletes of Ari Daivari, Mark Sterling, and Tony Nese. Nyla Rose defeated Katie Arquette, Anthony Henry, and Beef defeated Anthony Katana and Wes Barkley. The Outrunners, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd defeated the infantry of Charlie Bravo and Sean Dean. Kento Kobashi defeated Samoa Joe. And for the ROH World title match, Mark Briscoe defeated Mike Taven with Mike Bennett in his corner. Did you see any of this, J News? You muted. You fighting with the good mute button.
Yeah. First time for everything. Anyways. So I don't watch ROH because I don't have our Honor Club. The only thing that I took away from this particular show was that throughout the week, there was the whole buzz about the anniversary of what was labeled the greatest match in ROH history, which was Kenta Kobashi versus Samoa Joe. And I didn't know that they replayed it during the Honor Club show. So that's pretty cool. Kobashi nowadays, Japanese wrestling legend, retired. He has gone through a couple of medical scares in recent times, but he's come out the other side. But yeah, man, he's part of those late 80s through the 90s and early 2000s glory years of All Japan and Noah and things of that nature, that King's Road style of professional wrestling. He's a lot of your favorite pro wrestling. He's a lot of your favorite pro wrestlers' favorite pro wrestler. Yeah. In that sense.
And I went back and watched his matches. I really did enjoy them.
Yeah.
Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have AEW Rampage 165 on the 2nd. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The matches are scrolling across the bottom. We had Katsuyori, Shibata, and Private Party. Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn defeat the Elite of Jack Perry, Matthew, and Nicholas Jackson. We had Camille with Mercedes Moné defeat Zoe Lynn. We had Queen Aminata defeat Harley Cameron. I wish I would stop screwing over Queen Aminata with these crazy matches like this. And we had the conglomeration of Kyle O'Reilly, Ernst Cassidy defeat the Learning Tree of Big Bill and Brian Key. J News, anything?
I mean, the main driving points here on Rampage were that I think Isaiah Cassidy was the one who got the pin over Matt Jackson. So that was important to their story going into Wrestle Dream, where Private Party is eventually going to be taking on the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championships. They're continuing to highlight Queen Aminata on mainline AEW shows. That's always going to be a positive at the end of the day as well. Camille going through her squash matches as I thought they were going to do from the jump. I don't know why they waited this long to book these matches for Camille. And then on top of everything else, Shibata's got his match versus Jack Perry coming up at Wrestle Dream. So they're continuing that feud through tag matches and stuff like that. Very New Japan-esque in that way. Preview matches and stuff like that. See how the chemistry works out, and then continue to build the feuds on the other televised shows and things of that nature. I can't necessarily place anything else right now for the rest of Rampage. So yeah, those were the points I took away from Rampage. You're probably on mute because I don't hear it.
It's me, Luigi. We on AEW Collision 65 on the 3rd. These are the matches ticking across the bottom. In no particular order, we had Darby Allin defeating Johnny TV, the Outrunners of Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd defeating the Grizzled Young Veterans of James Drake and Zach Gibson. We had Willow Nightingale defeating Trisha Dora, Willa Yuta defeating Beef with Anthony Henry in his corner. The conglomeration of Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy defeating the premier athletes of Ari Daivari and Tony Nese. Hologram defeated Action Andrade, Commander, and Nick Wayne. And Chris Statlander defeated Zoe Lynn again. And we had the AEW World Title #1 contendership eliminator match. Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn defeated House of Black of Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black, and Top Flight of Dante Martin and Darius Martin.
So with all this still happening, we still have the continuing or the continued character building of Action Andretti. It seems that even though his team continues to lose, he has a very short temper and a very short fuse. And when they're on the actual verge of doing something positive, he tends to mess it up for them, or he pisses someone else in the match off, and they go off on them or whatever. So that's a continuing trend for Action Andretti's character. So that I think that's an interesting spot to put them in that particular gauge. We also had, yet again, the Chris Statlander match, another squash match with Chris Statlander here in place of where Camille was for Rampage and stuff like that. They beat the same girl, basically. They really beat the same girl. They had another backstage interview there where Chris came in on Mercedes and Camille's interview and stuff like that. And because Mercedes was using Chris's title line of being more than a woman. And then she's going with her whole follow her here, folks. She's a born again Christian at the end of the day. So this is her.
That's what hurt me the most when I was back there looking at it. I was like,
I respect her for
trying. There's sometimes where I'll be sitting here, and if I'm not on the podcast or online doing the watch along, where I literally will just I'm like, power off, cut the computer, just cut the TV off. Let me just go ahead and just walk away. And I slowly just back on up. I just be like, this is it. I got to go. I can't do this. Listen, it was that moment. I was like, I had to rewind back. I said, I thought she said Christian, and then I'm like, no. And when she said
Christian, yeah, which is her first name. But she's going for it. Look, at the end of the day, can it be? I think there's she's always been in this realm of campiness with the crews, with the groups that she's been in, with her own stuff. But at this point, some people find it endearing. Some people get turned off by it and stuff like that. This is who she is. So either you rock with it or you don't. That's Chris Stat. At the end of the day, I want to say that I think what they have going on, as per Goofy Wrestling, when they get Goofy Wrestling right, the stuff that they're doing with the Outrunners and FTR currently, I think, is amazing. So yeah. I want to say that it's hilarious stuff. They are. What else happened on Collision? The Willow Nightingale thing, where now she's going after Mariah and stuff, and Brit's talking about getting a shot. Now there's a #1 contendership match going down on Dynamite before Wrestle Dream, so it's going to be Britt versus Willow. The whole internet is hoping Willow wins this match. That's how much Britt Baker is disliked right now.
I don't like Willow and I don't like Britt, but I swear to God, if Willow don't win, I'm just gonna.
I know you don't like Willow. I still don't. I don't necessarily follow your.
As a hood chick, it's hard for me to feel like somebody gets stomped out and then they wake up and just. Something I didn't like it when that orange and yellow man did it. I don't like it. Listen, also looking back, I just want to say it should have been a crime that a leg drop just ends a match. That should have been a crime.
It was the 80s, Delores. It was the 80s.
It should have been a crime.
Oh my God! Give it a break. It was the 80s.
I don't want, and shout out to my relatives who might be looking at it's the thing that we tried that as kids, and it did not immobilize us permanently. Why did we think that really actually? Listen, I can understand the elbow from the top. I can understand all of that. But that one move now irks me because nowadays we do that move 65 times and never ends a match. But back in the day, it's like
That's what I'm saying.
that
It was
little
the 80s. It was the same thing. It was the same thing with Dusty with the bionic elbow. It was a regular elbow drop.
Listen, if you ain't never, because we used to do this as kids, but if you ain't never took an elbow to the top of the head, then that will hurt. That
It
will hurt.
hurts. But what the way Dusty used to finish matches, and he just used to take his leg, whip his leg, counter it down, and then boom. I was like, how you winning matches with that move? Explain that
That's
to me.
better than the leg drop that really just covered part top of your chest, and then he hit your throat or nothing. It just literally just did this.
Look,
Listen, we need to have a discussion about some of these old moves that don't work anymore. Oh, Young Bucks, I'm getting on y'all too. Y'all super kick somebody 60 times in the match, but the last time you super kick them, that's enough. I'm talking about, come on now.
it's a build. They overdid the super kick thing, but
Y'all had a super kick party 99 times in a match, but then the last time I'm supposed to trust, that was the last time the last time you snuffed it up enough energy after an hour and a half of kicking people that it really got them in. I'm like,
I must say, I like another young AEW wrestler whose character work is continuing to get better is Wheeler Yuta. What they're doing with Wheeler and this whole thing with the new version of the
Yuta for me is a lost cause at this point.
Nah,
I mean,
not at all.
I like his listen. He gets on the microphone and it's like a robot talking. It's like, yeah, I'm going to come after you. And I'm looking at him like, man, you look like a little kid. Like I could just kick you in the face, and that's it.
He's working on it at the end of the day, and I like the promo that he was able to cut backstage with Claudio. I thought that was another step in the right direction. At the end of the day, he's not.
I just want to know what is the time limit nowadays. Because that's the one thing I slightly, sort of, kind of agree with Vince about is that he put people on the timeline. You can get it, or you can get gone. And at a certain point, it's like, how long are we supposed to wrestle with her? Like Camille, we've seen her 99 places not have a personality. And all of a sudden, I'm supposed to think that AEW is going to change. Like she's almost like that Negro or that woman that you date. And then all of a sudden, you just hope that you're going to change them compared to the 6 other women who couldn't change them before. That's not going to happen.
I understand the analogy. But to be fair, right now she's on a different platform. She's on a different stage. She's in a different environment. She's around different people. So you would assume influences being what they are, just in a social setting, just in a work setting, that things might start to go in a different direction. Or
she's been around people who have good mic work. Nick Aldis, she's worked with Matt Cardona. She has been places where she could have picked up skills along the way. At this point, I used to say I could think Mercedes had the skills to teach her, but she is floundering in herself. So it's like, who will teach her? Willow barely talks. Chris is stiff as a board. Britt ain't getting it done. It's like, who now will she learn from? Serena D, we barely hear her talk. It's like, who do we get this from? Who is going to train them to be better at these mic skills? And if they are the only person that male-wise I know who got a comeback that out the fly, he ready. He just ready.
Sometimes I think what a lot of us fail to realize is that especially growing up watching wrestling, there was outside of what the WWE's been able to do with the Performance Center, your proving ground was your week-to-week television. Either you got better or you got left off TV at the end of the day. And this is what AEW doesn't have a Performance Center. They don't have a minor league. They don't have a minor league system to teach these people how to cut promos. They're going to have to sink or swim on live television. And they're going to have to play off of whatever kind of energy the fans are giving them.
So and they do need a farming system. I would have considered AEW Dark Rampage as the farming system to get people on TV and kind of get a little something. But that's something that now you can take that and put that on HBO Max.
Yeah, but they're not gonna do that because that's not part of the deal. A lot of what AEW Dark and what a lot of or whatever the other YouTube show was, but what that was just to keep wrestlers in good ring shape. It wasn't necessary for some of them. It was to get better at their
Like Emma
creative.
J, I saw her AEW Dark grow to be better.
Yeah,
And then
it did
got
get better
yeah,
because they
and
they got
I,
more.
I have hope that they can do better. My biggest example recently of a person who I was not interested in hearing from, but now I enjoy seeing them every time they come out is Gunther. I used to didn't want to hear him. I used to didn't want to hear that boy talk at all. And
Uh,
then now I listen that as a
it's
Georgia
it's
person, I'm
it's
gonna close
it's
my eyes
in,
when I say this. The way he roasted Goldberg,
it's
God,
interesting you say that because, and I don't know. I think just because my preference is the in ring stuff and the storytelling shit is beyond me at this, or the over dramatic storytelling stuff is beyond me at this point. Um, I preferred Walter over Gunther. I
you
preferred it.
know, you know why I prefer
I
Gunther?
don't I don't I don't take the Gunther character seriously, even though he takes himself seriously. I don't take it seriously.
You always have that one person, like for me, let's just say me, who will fight on the drop of a dime. But they could be funny and goofy at the same time. And that is the thing about it, is that the fact that he told that man he's a one trick pony.
I mean,
And
he
then
did
when
he did
and
lie.
then yeah. And he's like, you know what? When I said that you were my favorite wrestler, I lied. Because
He
who
did.
else is a one trick pony? He snaps on him. Then Goldberg decides, I'm gonna stand up for myself, I'm gonna jump the guardrail. And he said, well, I think he said, yeah, I got 30 seconds or 30 minutes or something like that for you.
3 minutes. I got 3 minutes for you.
Yeah, I got 3 minutes for you. It died. It popped me so bad because he was standing there like Billy Badass, like come on, bring
He's a,
it. I know
he's
you
a,
ain't
he's
nothing.
he's a schoolyard bully at this point, which is something that irritates the crap out of me. And maybe it's doing the job for
Yeah,
me. The way I'm expressing it, it's not. The in ring stuff never goes away because I think that he's a tremendous professional wrestler, um,
you
and
have to think about it.
he's come a very long way.
Imperium all started at the same point. They both all didn't have any kind of in ring, like they didn't have any kind of talking skills. For some apparent reason, Gunther went from we all equal to I'm way, way, way ahead of the pack because I can talk on the mic, whereas everybody else seems like robotic. And so I appreciate that. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get into the weird of the weird things that I cover. Progress. Pro Wrestling Noah
And Defy.
and Defy came together to have a pay-per-view on the 5th where Gringo Loco defeated Kid Lycos II.
Mhm.
Uh Cara
Mhm.
Noir.
That's right.
Yeah. Defeated that's a whole J News word.
Taishi Ozawa.
Yes, by referee decision. Man like the Reese defeated Ares and Kid Lycos, the original, and
Mhm.
Latigo. In a non-title match, this is J News word.
Now Michi Marufuji, the legend, defeated
Yeah.
Axel Fisher.
Yes. Progress women's title match, Riho defeated Stephanie Mays. And for the Progress World title match, Luke Jacobs defeated Timothy Thatcher. And HOG, ladies and gentlemen, believe in the glory. On the 29th, we had HOG women's title match. Megan Bain defeated Lena Cross. HOG cruiserweight title match. Gringo Loco kept his championship by defeating Fuego del Sol. HOG tag team title match. The cold-blooded killers of Nolo Katana and Raheem Royal kept their championship by defeating Miracle Generation of Dustin Waller and Kylan King. Darian Richardson defeated Amazing Red, Jay Armani, Jay Lyon, Jay Bougie, and Joey Silver. Joe Hendry, he defeated Joey Janela. Said go back and watch it. HOG Crowd Jewel title match, Zilla Fatu defeated Idris Jackson. HOG heavyweight title match, Mike Santana kept his championship by defeating Jay Lethal in a no contest. HOG Tag Team title match. Jay Lethal and Mike Santana teamed together after the match to defeat the cold-blooded killers of Nolo, Katana, Raheem Royal by DQ. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to Pro Wrestling Noah. You get to hear the good stylings of the good brother, J News.
Noah Sunny Voyage 2024. We had Amakusa and Iyata defeating All Rebellion of Alejandro and Cristobal. Junta Miyawaki and Kai Fujimura defeated Raitel's Tadasuke and Yuto Kikuchi. Masaki Tamiya, Naomichi Marufuji, Takashi Sugiyara, and Yu Owada defeated Alpha Wolf, Daga, Dragon Bane, and Super Crazy. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., Galeno del Mal, defeated Manabu Soya and Uka Sasaki. Kaito Kiyomiya, the current Noah GHC heavyweight champion, defeated Daiki Odashima. Anthony Green against Jack Morris against LJ Cleary was decided to be a no contest. And then for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, Raitel's Hayata and Yohei, the champions, defeated Atsushi Kotoge and Hajime Ohara. Stardom, the world of wonder, the beautiful ladies of Stardom. Stardom Night in Kurikan Hall on the 2nd of October. We had Inaba and Hate members Rina and Ruaka defeating God's Eye, Hina and Tamaka, Inaba, and Mayu Amasaki. We then had Momo Watanabe defeating Momokogo. God's Eye members Lady C, Nanami, Rana Yagami, and Suri defeated Empress Nexus Venus of Hanako, Waka Tsukiyama, and Xena along with Rian. We had Neo Genesis members Mei Sarah and Starlight Kid go up against Stars members Hazuki and Kaguma, which resulted in a double countout. We then had an 8-man tag team elimination match, or 8-woman tag team elimination match. Hate members Konami, Natsuko Tora, Saya Kamatani, and Thekla defeating Cosmic Angels Natsupoi, Sayori Anu, Sayaka Kurara, and Yuna Mizumori. Empress Nexus Venus, Maika and Mina Shirakawa, along with Tony Storm, defeated Stars members Hanan, Mayu Iwatani, and Saya Lita. We then had Nagoya Golden Fight, which took place on the 5th yesterday. Stardom show. We had the pre-show high-speed title contendership battle royale. Yuna Mizumori defeated Hina and Kaguma and Momokogo and Rana Yagami. We had the Future of Stardom title match. We had Mayu Amasaki defeating Rina in a title change there. So Mayu Amasaki walked away with the Future of Stardom title. This was projected to be a standout match for Mayu Amasaki, and that's exactly what it was. Mayu got a lot of praise for the kind of matches she had against Rina, and the title changed hands. We then had Saya Kamatani defeating Sayaka Kurara. We then had the legend, the Queen of Villains, Dump Matsumoto, along with members of Hate, Konami, Momo Watanabe, Natsuko Tora, and Ruaka, along with Zap, defeating Empress Nexus Venus of Hanako, Maika, Mina Shirakawa, Waka Tsukiyama, and Xena, along with Rian. We then had an interesting match here, which came down to Starlight Kid defeating Hazuki. They've been beefing for a while, folks. And in this match, even though Starlight Kid won the match, Hazuki unmasked Starlight Kid during this match, and she really beat Starlight Kid down. Like, Hazuki really went into being the heel in this match. I was very surprised that she was able to
beat her like she owed her money.
Yes, absolutely. I was very surprised she was able to cut off Starlight Kid's mask and then tear it off of her. It was something. Then the backstage comments where Starlight Kid had to hold the towel over half of her face and basically wanting a rematch versus Suzuki. This is far from over. This is far from over. God's Eye, Lady C, and Suri defeated the Cosmic Angels of Aya Sakura, Sayuri Anu, and Neo Genesis members Azumi and Meisura, along with Stars members Hanan and Sayalita. The Wonder of Stardom title match included the champion Natsupoi against Thekla. Natsupoi won the match. This unfortunately did not go very, very well. This Wonder of Stardom title match looked very janky. It wasn't well put together.
Hot mess express.
It was it was a hot mess, and I'm a fan of both of these ladies, and it just seems like Thekla wasn't in it for whatever reason. It was a very sloppy match. It was a hot mess match, just like Delores said. We then had the final two matches saved the show at the end of the day. The IWGP Women's Title match, which had the champion Mayu Iwatani defeating Toni Storm in a great match. Mayu Iwatani, the existing in-ring legend that she is, put up quite the battle with Toni Storm, and Toni Storm basically getting back to her best in-ring ways, but to continue the story that Toni Storm has been telling overall from a macro perspective. After Toni Storm was defeated by Mayu Iwatani, Toni Storm then walked out and danced away from the arena to no longer be heard from again as she makes her way to Mexico this coming week. Then we had the World of Stardom title match that took place. Tam Nakano and Suzu Suzuki beat the crap out of each other. They got really violent in this match, which I was not necessarily expecting to the degree that I saw. But hey, it worked. It was great. Tam, being the World of Stardom title holder, has been really, really good, and she showed out in this match. After she defeated Suzu Suzuki, Tam Nakano put it out into the universe that she wants to face IWGP Women's Champion Mayu Iwatani one day, and that she also wants to take on the NJPW Strong Women's Champion and also the AEW TBS Women's Champion Mercedes Moné. So we might be seeing Tam Nakano on our national television screens very, very soon. We then have the Marigold Dream Star Fighting promotion at Fantastic Adventure. Went down yesterday. We had Kazuna Tanaka defeating Flying Penguin. A 4-on-1 handicap match which had the big Boza defeating Kamomo Manami Yuki, Mila Grace, and Naoya Ishikawa. We then had Chiaki and Nagisa Nozaki defeating Misa Matsui and Ria Seto. Mai Sakurai defeated Chikagoto. Koki Amare, Miku Aono, Natsumi Shozuki in a 6-person tag defeated Mirai, Utami Hayashishita, and Vittoria Yuzuki went to a time limit draw, should I say? Yeah, it would have been weird if this would have been something that Utami Hayashishita would have lost. On to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Progressive Road to King of Pro Wrestling 2024. On the 5th, we had young lion Katsuya Murashima, now the senior, defeating Daiki Nagai. Oleg Bolton and Tomoaki Hanma defeating Shoma Kato and Tomohiro Ishii. Bullet Club members, the return of Bad Luck Fale, Caveman Ugg, and Taiji Ishimori defeating TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Mikey Nichols, and Shane Haste. Just Five Guys, Doki and Tai Chi defeated House of Torture members Sho and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Los Ingobernables de Japón, Naruto Takahashi and Yoda Tsuji defeated United Empire members Jacob Austin Young and Jeff Cobb. The Bebop Tag Team, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toru Yano, along with Shota Umino, defeating House of Torture members Dick Togo, Evil, and Yujiro Takahashi. Then we had Bishiman, the return of the tag, Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, along with the Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida. They defeated the Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors, David Finley, Drilla Maloney, and Gato. We then had NJPW Wrestling Life 40th Anniversary, the Yuji Nagata 40th Anniversary, Blue Justice 14, which went on this morning. We had Young Lion, Daiki Nagai, and Young Lion, Katsuya Murashima, along with Oleg Bolton, defeating Masatori Yasuda, Shomakato, and Toriano. Bullet Club members Bad Luck Fale, Caveman Ugg, and Taiji Ishimori defeated TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Mikey Nichols, and Shane Haste. We had House of Torture members Sho and Yoshinobu Kanemaru defeating Just Five Guy members Doki and Takumi Shinoku. We then had Los Ingobernables de Japón, Hiromu Takahashi and Yoda Tsuji defeating United Empires Jacob Austin Young and Jeff Cobb. We then had Hiroshi Tanahashi, Shota Umino, and Tomohiro Ishii, the return of the Stone Pit Bull, defeating House of Torture members Dick Togo, Evil, and Yujiro Takahashi. We then had Bishiman, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi, along with the Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida, along with Tomoaki Hanma, defeating Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors, David Finley, Drilla Maloney, Gabe Kidd, and Gato. We then had TMDK members Kosei Fujita, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeating Los Ingobernables de Japón, Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and Tetsuya Naito. And then the main event of the evening had the wrestling legends that are Jun Akiyama and Yuji Nagata teaming up to go against Atsushi Katoje and Go Shiozaki.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to the previews. And we're going to start with AEW Wrestle Dream. Ladies and gentlemen, that comes on the 12th. Again, we're gonna start with the 0 hour. For the only match listed so far is the World Television Title match: Atlantis Jr., the champion versus Brian Cage.
I
We
hope
go
Brian
on,
Cage wins that match. By the way,
yes. We go on to the main event: Brody King versus Darby Allin.
that should be a banger.
For the AEW Tag Team Title match, the Young Bucks of Matthew and Nicholas Jackson versus Private Party of Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. The AEW International Title three-way match: Will Ospreay versus Ricochet versus
This
Konosuke Takeshita.
this is gonna be something. It's gonna be
AEW TNT Title match: Jack Perry versus Katsuyori Shibata.
Mhm.
ROH World Title match: Mark Briscoe versus Chris Jericho. Boo, 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 boo. And the AEW World Title match: Bryan Danielson versus John Moxley.
Yeah, I'm sure that we're probably gonna see a couple of more matches fit into the event because you know how AEW likes to do like 10 to 12 matches for their pay-per-views. So we'll see how it all shapes out. Um, a lot of the word on the street has that the word on the street for a while, or at least on the internet, has been that the benefactor of John Moxley's new group was Shane McMahon, but that was torn down in the last few days by the dirt sheets and people in the know. Shane McMahon's not coming in. He is not the one spewing the information in John Moxley's ear. I have a good guess as to who the person who got into John Moxley's ear was. I could be completely wrong, but it's not someone new, I don't think. It's someone that we've been seeing for a long period of time on AEW television. And it's just, it won't be necessarily surprising, but it'll be like, all this for that type of a deal. So, yeah.
I wouldn't
I
put
mean,
it past Tony Khan. That seems like a all this for that kind of situation.
yeah. So it's been in our face the entire time. I think it's just more or less like it really took it really took some digging. It really took some convincing. It really took a lot of conniving from this one person to get all of these guys against Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson being the main person here that people need to pay attention to, and who would really have it out for Bryan all this time to just turn everybody on Bryan. Eventually, Wheeler Yuta will turn on Bryan Danielson as well. So we'll see who the benefactor will be there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back to the GCW. At GCW, it is uh the Fight Club Art of War is the first day. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll preview next week the second day because it actually comes on during the time that we're on. It'll be on Triller TV. You'll have the GCW Ultraviolet title match: Rina Yamashita versus Brandon Kirk. Sydney Akin, talking at Bridgie, versus Leon Slater. And the Art of War Games match: One Commanders, mystery person, Effie and Joey, Janela versus Deathmatch Royalty, Broski Jimmy, Mance Warner, and Matt Cardona, and a mystery person on their team.
Mm.
We're on to Wrestling Revolver, ladies and gentlemen. Wrestling Revolver. Epic over Texas on the 12th, also on Trailer TV. It will be Alley Catch versus Vert Vixen. Mike Bailey and Paul Walter Hauser. Yes, I said that right. The
Exactly. The
the
Paul Walter Hauser.
yes, the award-winning Paul Walter Hauser versus the crew of Matthew Palmer and Rich Swann. Moose versus Brick Savage. For the Revolver title match, Ace Austin, the champion, versus Fuego del Sol. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're on to the good stylings of the good brother J News for all the New Japan shows.
We have Road to King of Pro Wrestling shows that are coming. One on the 8th of October. We will then have Masatori Yasuda versus Taiki Nagai. Toru Yano and Tomohiro Ishii versus Katsuya Murashima and Shomakato. Kosei Fujita and Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols with TMDK going up against Taiji Ishimori, Ben Agu, and Bad Luck Fale of the Bullet Club. Takumi Shinoku and Doki of Just Five Guys versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Show of whatever. House of Torture. Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi, Los Ingobernables de Japón, going up against Ryusuke Taguchi and Mystico. We then have Kevin Knight and Kushida, along with Tomoaki Hanma and Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto versus Clark Connors and Gato and Gabe Kidd and Dave Finley. We then have Yota Tsuji, Shingo Takagi, and Tetsuya Naito of LIJ versus Hartley Jackson, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. of TMDK. We then have the show on the 10th going down. We have Masatori Yasuda versus Daiki Nagai again. Toru Yano and Tomohiro Ishii versus Katsuyama Hiroshima and Shomakato. Kosei Fujita, Shane Haston, Mikey Nichols of TMDK versus Taiji Ishimori, K-Man, Agu, and Bad Luck Fale of the Bullet Club. Takumi Shinoku and Doki of Just Five Guys versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Show of House of Torture. We then have Bolton Oleg and Shota Umino, along with Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Dick Togo, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil of House of Torture. We then have Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi of LIJ versus Ryusuke Taguchi and Mystico. And then we have Kevin Knight and Kushida, Tomoaki Hanma and Yoshihashi, along with Hiroki Goto versus Drilla Maloney, Clark Connors, Gato, Gabe Kidd, and David Finley of My Dogs For Real. Yota Tsuji and Shingo Takagi, along with Tetsuya Naito of LIJ, going up against Hartley Jackson, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. of TMDK. King of Pro Wrestling, that was on the 10th. We already went over that. We can skip that. We just did that show.
This is the 11th.
On the 11th? Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to change the date. Pretty much the same type of stuff.
Okay. So we then have the Young Lions going at it again. Masatori Yoshida versus, they'll probably end up in the draw there. Shomakato and Tomohiro Ishii versus Katsuyama Hiroshima and Shota Umino. We'll then have Takumi Shinoku and Doki of Just Five Guys versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Show of House of Torture. We'll then have Bolton Oleg, Toriyano, and Hiromu Takahashi versus Dick Togo, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil of House of Torture. Yota Tsuji and Hiroshi Tanahashi will team up against Taguchi and Mystico. We'll then have Kevin Knight and Kushida, Tomoaki Hanma, and Yoshihashi, along with Hiroki Goto, going up against Gabe Kidd and those members of the War Dogs.
That was the 10th. I'm fighting sleep, y'all. I'm trying to get up. The 11th, it has the Nagata match. It has the same Mishima Oleg match. Same.
Okay.
Yeah, they kept it pretty much the same until we get to Shota Umino.
And Toriyano and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Togo, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil. Okay. And then Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi versus Taguchi and Mystico. The big face team versus the War Dogs. And then we had Yota Tsuji, Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito of LIJ versus Harley Jackson, Ryohei Oiwa, and all those boys from Team.
Now, this is the last set of matches before the show on the 14th.
Okay. So this is on the 12th. The Young Lions, Yasuda versus Nagai. Bolton Oleg and Toriyano versus Katsuyama Hiroshima and Shomakato. Shane Haston, Mikey Nichols, along with Hartley Jackson, TMDK go up against Tomohiro Ishii, Caveman of the Bullet Club. Do we have By the Fire is also part of that team. We have Tai Chi and Doki of Just Five Guys going up against Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Sho of House of Torture. Shota Umino and Tomohiro Ishii along with Hiroshi Tanahashi go up against Dick Togo, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil of House of Torture. Yota Tsuji and Hiromu Takahashi of LIJ go up against Taguchi and Mystico. We then have Kevin Knight and Kushida and Tomoaki Hanma and Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto go up against the War Dogs of Gato, Kidd, Finley, Drilla, and Connors. Shingo Takagi, Bushi, and Tetsuya Naito of LIJ go up against Oiwa and the boys from TMDK.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the end. Yay! Yay, ladies and gentlemen. A lot going on this week in wrestling. I'll be watching a lot of wrestling. Also, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. I am going to let you all know my spotlight of the week, okay? It won't be no mystery, but I love this person from the bottom of my heart. And I believe that they will solve racism somehow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Cody Rhodes. I love Cody Rhodes. If you haven't seen Cody Rhodes, I call him Cody Luther King. Cody, Devontae Gonzalez Rose. He can be whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. Cody is gonna be there. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Cody is a hometown hero here in the great state of Georgia. Him and his lovely wife, Brandy, and Liberty. Listen, y'all can have some more kids. I also appreciated that he saluted Roman as he jumped off. He literally jumped off the top of the rope on the stand and leaped over to Jacob. And in a split second, and after watching a lot of reviews, I found out I wasn't the only one who saw him flying and thought, he gonna miss that man. But he hit him though. He hit him right on target. And then after all he sacrificed for Roman, he got stomped out. And Roman had to come back and help him out. Listen, Cody has sacrificed his body, his time, his money, and his dignity by getting kicked out at his bus in his home. Remind you, this man got beat in front of his hometown friends and family, in front of his own bus where his wife and kid and dogs were. If that ain't a sacrifice for your country, I don't know what it is. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this man has consistently put on bangers from 2 companies to get to this point to be the champion. And he will stay champion. I cannot wait till he has to possibly face Gunther or somebody at Crown Jewel. My spotlight of the week, Cody on Thal Rose. Okay, there we go, because he out here killing them. J News, what you got to say about that? What you got to say about that?
I got nothing to say. I never necessarily say anything about the spotlights. Cody always deserves his flowers for doing what he's been able to do over the last several years in professional wrestling. He was able to work his way to the top of the professional wrestling landscape and couldn't be any prouder of him. I thought that I'll speak for myself when it comes to him, and I'll make this a short story. Back in 2018, at the original All In Chicago, he had a one-on-one match, very, very succinct and short story with Nick Aldis for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. And when I tell you that, regardless of what him winning the WWE Championship and anything like that, that was as a fan of his and as a contemporary of his, because we're of the same generation. He's only a year younger than I am. I was super proud of him in that moment. I had a tear in my eye, literally, watching that match live in Chicago, because I could only have imagined how proud his dad would have been of him winning that championship. So I'll never have a bad word to say about Cody Rhodes. And I appreciate him continuing to live the dream. And that's all I would have to say about Cody. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get to J News, I have 2 important things that I want to talk about that are happening this month. So we all know. For those who don't know, this is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It's something that is important to me. I wanted to let you all, you're not alone. Please speak up. You deserve love and respect. And please reach out to someone, whether it's family, friends, or the domestic hotline, to reach out if you need help. Okay? Also, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Cancer and some breast cancer has affected my surrounding family and my family, period. And I am very pro trying to find this cure. And so, ladies, this is a reminder. Please, please, please take care of yourself. Make sure you check yourself, because you cannot take care of anybody unless you take care of yourself. and it's very important to me. I always champion things that are very, very important to me. I know sometimes on the channel we do little fun holidays and different things, but these two are very important to me, and I wanted to speak about it here. So it's time for J News to jump out the box, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, folks, as usual, thanks to Delores, as usual, for helping me plug my stuff. As you can see here on screen, you can catch me on the internets, on the socials at John LYFNMG. That's your friendly neighborhood moviegoer, where I talk things about movies, movie reviews, upcoming movies. I share trailers of movies that I think are of interest to me and would be of interest to people out there who are tired of just seeing the big blockbuster type films. So that's really more or less the themes of when I post on Twitter or Instagram different movie trailers of movies that you might have never heard of. Movie reviews will be coming down the pike. I haven't been to the theater this month at all, so hopefully I'll start to be able to get back to that this week and I start to put the videos on YouTube so that people can start to follow my distinct point of view and perspective on the art of filmmaking and what my thoughts on certain movies are going forward. So please, whenever you get a chance, follow me on the socials. Scan the QR code as you saw it there, which will direct you to my link tree, and it'll take you to all of my different endeavors. Also, check me out on the Letterbox, where I post up my written reviews as well. It is a social media platform for movie lovers. So if you love movies and things of that nature, and you want to share your love of movies and reviews and things of that nature, Letterbox, one word, D at the end. Check us out there and look me up under the members tab.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this week it hit me like lightning. If you want to know about good movies, go check out J News because he will make it enough. Okay? He will make it enough. Okay? That is what J News listen. J News might not can turn water into wine, but he'll make sure you get find enough movies to go and go see. Okay? He ain't gonna waste your time. He ain't got time for that. You're on mute. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here, that's my social. You probably are on my channel. If you are, thank you. Please go check out J News. You can check him out by the John LYFNMG. If you type it in the search bar, you'll definitely find J News. If not, scan this QR code, open your camera, put it up. It'll come up good. Ladies and gentlemen, as I'm losing my voice. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to you all for subscribing to me and J News because we're live on J News' channel. Hi, J News' channel. So until then, we're gonna say, listen, it's getting hot, hot fire. Listen, I don't feel like a Leo right now. I need to just go ahead and just go ahead and just do it. But we got to get up out of here. And until then, let's just say it like this: it's hot. It's hot. It's hot. It's time to turn the lights out. And we have to say goodbye. And so we're doing something new, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to put up our overlay. We're going to hit the end stream button because that's how now we close out the show. But until then, peace.